What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Freestyle Gospel, aka The Real Free, with another episode of Free Lunch. And we have a special video for you guys today. I'm kind of switching up the vibe.
Right.
So you're not going to see me, but you guys will hear me. For those who love to hear my fantastic, amazing voice. But you're going to see these two amazing gentlemen I have on the show that are going to introduce themselves very soon. Big shout out to our sponsors this season, Dobie Revolution Orthodontics, helping you love your smile. My man, Pure White Lens Photography. Make sure y'all get those prom pictures ready. Prom season is coming. Hit my mans up. All of our sponsors are in the link in the description of this episode. You already know. And my man, Track Major Productions, one of the best producers in the Northeast. For all you indie rappers,
tap in. If
you're looking for another link, tap in. Link in the description of this podcast episode and every episode. Make sure y'all show them some love.
Surprise. What
you think it is?
I don't know. I think he said it might be relative to the joint, so it might be topic related. Oh, white boy.
Oh nah.
Word.
Can we flip?
Oh, I think I know what this is.
Can I flip?
Yeah, no, those are for you guys.
We good.
Oh.
Certified.
Nah,
oh.
Yeah.
This is hard.
So, what you see, our guests, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to introduce themselves soon, but what they're holding in their hands now, you guys could flip it, face it towards the camera if you want.
This is OD.
But basically, we felt like we wanted our guests to really feel appreciated as guests on the show and let them really know that we appreciate them as much as they perceive that they appreciate us. You know, many people come and contact us to be on the show. And there's this idea, I think, going around in like the podcast world or any really platform is that the individuals or the creatives, they should be the ones so grateful that they get to be on these other platforms. And not really the platforms realizing that we guys are actually the ones that should be grateful because without guests, there is no platform. Right? You know what I mean? For sure. And I think there's just a mutual like appreciation and respect there. So this was our attempt here at the Free Lunch Podcast. The very first certificates of appearance ever given on the show. In the history of all 7 seasons.
Come on.
7 seasons, over 100 episodes in.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, bro.
My man's Negrito and OB Mostwvnted. They're the first to get those. So how do you guys feel about that? Is this something that you have seen before?
Nah.
In the industry?
This is love. I mean, this is love. You can't. I'm hyped. I like stuff like I'm not materialistic, so when I get stuff like this is mad sentimental. This is fire.
So Negrito, why don't you read it off? Let the people know what they say.
All right. So free lunch, free food for your soul with the real fry. Certificate of guest appearance.
The Real Free. Tell me, I don't be messing up our name here on the Free Lunch Podcast.
Sometimes I'm a little illiterate, so forgive me. Certificate of guest appearance. This certifies that during season 7 of the Free Lunch Podcast, Negrito graced to set an internationally streamed podcast, Free Lunch, Free Food for Your Soul, as a featured guest speaker, and is worthy of inclusion in the body of courageous people of great internal strength and self-confidence and belief in their own dreams. So as to dare to share a piece of their journey publicly with the millions of listeners and viewers, we are forever grateful for your time spent with us and wish you the best.
Love.
Christopher Elliott, founder and CEO of Frii Branding LLC. Do you see how thought out that this certificate was? This wasn't just like we gonna give you a stamp, give you your flowers. Like no, they're saying that they gracefully appreciate us, and we gracefully appreciate them. This is love. I love this with everything.
Appreciate
this is fire.
So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we got Negrito and OB Mostwvnted, aka OB, in the building.
Yes, sir.
So, gentlemen,
talk to me.
First off, let's just break the ice with the introduction of the day today. How has the day been leading up to today's episode for you guys?
Go first.
My day was pretty sturdy. You know, went to work, came, showered up, met my dog here. Now I'm here. You know.
Okay.
It's love.
Pretty basic. Relax. Hey, it ain't always crazy every day.
Life is chill, you know.
Nah, yeah, word. Nah, I mean, my day was pretty lax. I didn't really do too much. It was productive though. I mean, did a little shopping, not really shopping, but just a little something. And then, you know, just vibed out for the day, and we here. I was excited to be here, so I was just trying to kill time till I got here, to be honest. So that's why.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Okay. Well, Negrito, how about you first introduce yourself, what it is that you do, and then OB will follow with you.
So my name is Negrito, NVOP, Negrito. I'm an artist, but not only am I an artist, I'm also an entrepreneur, mogul, everything under the sun that involves benefiting myself. I have an extreme passion for music, love the embodiment of it, everything that comes with it, the studio time, producing, writing, sessions, things of that nature. But I'm also a businessman first, so I love the business aspect of it. I love the marketing side. I love just being anything involved in entertainment in the industry itself. Really, that's about it. I mean,
you have a family?
Yeah, I got a family, not like my own kids yet, but I just recently got engaged. I proposed to my girlfriend.
Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to my baby girl, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out, sis.
Yeah. Like a lot of people, I mean, like that's been a long time coming. I think I needed that, some clarity that I needed. It was something that really buckled me down. Like we've been rocking for like 3 years, so it was one of those things where it was like, given my age too, because I'm not that old. I just turned 26 in January, so relatively young in terms of what the stigma of marriage looks like, and especially for my age group, right? So but it's a blessing. You know what I mean? I'm more than grateful for to have her, and just ready to start embark on my new journey with her. And,
all right,
that's dope.
We'll get into a little more of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
OB.
Yeah, OB Mostwvnted. I'm an artist.
First off, OB, where does that name come from? OB Mostwvnted.
My name is.
How'd you come up with that?
All right, so my name is O'Brien, right? So
okay.
Is it?
I love it.
It's crazy. My name is O'Brien, right? I mean, if you know, you know. But yeah, my name is O'Brien. So people just call me OB for short. And then the most wanted part, well, it comes from like two things. So I used to, move work when I was younger. And I grew up as in like I was once a young pup, but then I grew up into who I am today. So it's like females ain't want me back then, but now they want me. So I'm most wanted in both aspects. You know what I mean?
I like that one better.
You know what I mean? That's what most wanted. And then so that's how most OB Most Wanted came about. I just put
back then they didn't want me.
Right, in real life too. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
That's a fact. If you know, you know. For sure.
But yeah, I'm an artist. When it comes to this music thing, I'm really just I'm a writer and I just love to record. I mean, the business is cool and all that, but I'm just really in love with the art. And I feel like the type of music I make and the things I create is just like full fetch, and my harmonies. I'm just in love with my sound. So I just love to record. I love to make music when I'm not having the best days, whatever I'm going through. Yeah. Just write and record. That's what I love to do.
Are you like a rapper or a singer?
You
or both?
Say both. Yeah. I'm in between. For sure. I'm in between.
And when you say both, are you like, if you could like give me like a mainstream artist parallel, like are you like Ja Rule both?
Drake.
50 Cent both?
Drake both.
You a Drake both?
Drake both.
Okay.
Facts.
All right.
Facts.
What about you, Negrito?
Are
you both?
I'm definitely an artist and like,
music. A singer and rapper.
For sure. I definitely think in both categories. I think people that know me would say I lean more to the rapping side because that's like where my roots came from, for sure. But like, but as an artist, like, there's not a lot of people that can like.
You got that trigger harmony.
Yeah, 1,000.
1,000.
I could definitely. I could shock some people.
Negrito, let me hear a quick trigger. Let me hear trigger.
Yeah.
Yo, I love it. Give me the trigger real fast.
But I wouldn't say I have a comparison to like anybody because no one's like me. I'm one of one. So like I would never want something somebody's like me or I'm like somebody else because that means I'm limiting myself to who I could be. So
love it.
Drake's a cool answer. Like I'm saying, like he's the top of the top. I mean, in terms of like the music game, but I mean, like to me that would be limiting myself to his status, which is insane to me.
That makes sense.
So I wouldn't compare myself to anybody. I would say I'm a one-on-one for sure.
I forgot to ask you, OB. Do you have a family? Any kids?
Nah. My future. I mean, the future bright for me though. I could,
Okay, all right.
One day though. One day.
You taking applications?
Yeah.
Taking applications for the right one?
Nah, not really. I'm chilling. I'm chilling right now. I'm just doing my thing.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just doing me. Bobbing.
Got you. And you said, Negrito, you don't have any kids, right?
None, not yet.
None. Okay. Haven't found the right one till now.
Wifey real big on marriage before kids. She's real spiritual and real religious. So
I love it.
That's a big thing for her. So
I love it.
So I accommodate that.
How did you guys meet?
I've known her for years. So like I've known her for probably like 7 years now.
Okay.
But, it was one of those things where we ended up working together for a little bit too. I was a special ed parent for a minute.
Okay.
So I was teaching kids with special needs, high spectrum, autism, Down syndrome, things of that nature, real behavioral kids. We ended up working in the same classroom, and just by default, that's how that thing works. Like just being in the same area with somebody for X amount of time.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. So you know what I mean. But it was dope. Like, but again, she's seen me through my thought phase and my whole phase. Like she's seen all of that. You know what I mean? And then when it's like. So she already knew, but she knew my morality. She knew who I was as an individual. So once I came around and I was like, yo, let's take this serious. And she was like, all right, because she already seen that I was already past that. But it was dope. It was good. If I would have gotten with her when I first met her, I probably would have ruined it.
You'd have ruined it.
So it was like everything happened.
She had to let you run around the block a few times, get a couple laps.
Mad laps.
Let them get tired first.
I had to get exhausted. You know what I'm saying? But I'm good now. I'm straight.
I love it. It's an OB. So what's the deal with you, man? You're just not interested yet.
Nah, I got my.
It's not that they haven't crossed your path.
No.
You just probably told them not right now.
No, I got my situation going on.
I got this situation.
I'm happy with what I'm.
Is it a situation or a lituation?
You could say both. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, it's like a lituation. It's a situation.
You mind telling the viewers how old you are? Just.
I mean, if that matters, I'm 28.
Word.
Okay.
Yeah. But
It's cool.
Age ain't nothing really, but if you ready, you ready. If you not, you not.
I'm not forcing it.
No. I'm just letting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Word.
Yeah. But yeah, everything gonna work itself out, man. I'm just living. I live life day by day. So
are either of you full-time artists yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. So how about you guys tell me a little bit about your quote unquote day job? What's that like? You don't have to tell me like where you work. I'm just saying.
Oh no. So
what kind of field are you?
Kind of to piggyback off of what bro said. I kind of do the same thing in the same aspect. Work with people.
Oh, human service.
Yeah. Work with people with autism and stuff like that. And to be honest, that stuff like that kind of fulfills me because I love to help people. Because if I was in their position, I'd want somebody to do the same for me. So honestly, when I wake up and go to work, it's not one of them days like, darn, I got to go to work and I'm upset or whatever. I enjoy going to work because I sincerely love to help people who are in need. So yeah.
Nah, yeah.
Love that.
Right now, like I used to be in that field for a minute. Now I work in manufacturing though. So I work in manufacturing. That's where that's the field that I'm in. So,
Got you.
But it's good. I mean, like I said, it's a stepping stone. Like I said,
it's
not a. Don't get me wrong. I'm in a good space. It's not like I'm. Like it's not a career path or a choice necessarily or a job, but it's just I have a certain passion and I'm a businessman first. You know what I'm saying? Like Hov said it best. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at life. You know what I mean? I've realized at a young age that the people on the top that do the least, they get paid the most. So if that's the case, then why would I settle for being in that small food chain bracket of people when I can sit there and get to that top space and have my hands in whether it be real estate, whether it be music, whether it be entertainment, anything in that nature, and be in a position of power so I can delegate and do things to really advance my career and myself and my status.
Right.
So,
but the journey to that top is hard as hell.
No, but that's the best part though.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
At the top, it might be a little work, but it's like that journey there is crazy.
Cool, though. You gotta embrace the journey.
You gotta fall in love with the process of being great.
Right.
You can't skip to because people that I'm not gonna say all, but people I feel like in my opinion, people that inherit that, they feel a certain level of entitlement where they feel like they're just demanded certain things. Whereas if you came from this foundation that was set for years on years on years, and every single year or every month or whatever quota you're going towards, you naturally progress. By the time you get to that point, you don't even realize you're there because you constantly still in that mindset of working.
Right.
So you never fall off. So you're always humble in terms of, I'm never going to take this for granted because I was here before. So I could hit the mega billions tomorrow and be a multi-millionaire. My song could pop off tomorrow. My character isn't going to change because of my foundation has been set since I was younger. So even though, like you said, the journey is tough for sure, but in the same sense, it's like, that's what makes it all the more merrier. You know what I mean? For me, at least, I can't speak for others, but for me, I definitely feel that way.
And I could vouch for bro. He's really been the same person since I met him. I known him since he was 14. My man's is 26 now, and he's legit been the same way through the ups and downs, good and bad. So I could vouch for that. For sure.
Oh, so you guys known each other since he was 14?
That's what you
said?
No, yeah. Like 10, 12 years? Yeah, something like that.
Really my brother.
No, I've known him for like years. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Like I was gonna tell a story, but I'll say that for another day.
Right.
No, we want OB to tell us the story.
Hey,
Shoot.
man, I used to be
You let Negrito take all the mic time. I want to hear from OB.
I
Please
mean,
tell the story.
hey, wait, what story? How we met?
Yeah, if you, the super clean version of it though.
Okay, I got you. All right, so
And talking to the microphone.
So long story short, how I met bro. I used to go to school in Stanford High School. We had a mutual friend, and like it was the end of the year, and we used to be able to bring people over to the school. You know, it's the end of the year, you could do whatever. It's like cool, I bet. So I mean, we had laptops. We had laptops that they let us use, so it was time to bring the laptops back. And I might have mentioned out loud, like, I don't want to return my laptop because I was still in the process of using it in a certain way, and bro thought it was weird, and from there, this is the cleanest, like this is the clean version, and then from there he thought I was a weirdo. Correct. And then through time, we just ended up clicking. And
I always said I would never be cool with him ever in my life.
Yeah.
That would never be a person that I would ever interact with.
Yeah.
And 12 years later, we're over here sitting down doing a podcast,
working
on a
life.
project.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm about to drop the hottest project ever, by the way. Word. Life is crazy, man.
Some truth to that.
Life is crazy.
There's definitely some truth to that.
But yeah, that's how we met.
Definitely facts.
Yeah,
some truth to that for sure.
And for you, OB, what is the motivation or drive to try to be successful in this thing of music that you're in now?
Yeah, because people said I couldn't, man. You know, I'd been through a lot in my life. People try to downplay me. People always told me I couldn't do this, couldn't do that, or you would never be this, never be that. And that honestly inspired me to be like the great that I believe I am. Like, I work on my craft every day. I mean, for years and years, I've worked on my harmonies, my sound, and to be honest, in my humble opinion, I just feel like the reason why I'm not on is because my music haven't fell in the right ears yet. And that's my fault because I'm not the best at promoting or going out my way to make sure people hear my music. But I know if people hear my music, they would think, oh, yeah, he's the one for sure. What really motivates me is people thinking that, oh, he can't do it. Or, nah, like, it's OB. Nah, they just brush me to the side. But I'm going to show them really, like, I'm really the big dog. Like,
so what happens for you, you know, with that as a motivation?
Yeah.
What happens then at the point where the rest of the world believes you?
Like once they believe I'm that?
Yeah, like what will then, if any, be your motivation then?
That's a
because, and I only say that because oftentimes people have a motivation that sounds verbatim like that or similar, and you know, they say, hey, you know, I'm doing this because, you know, I don't know, you know, somebody said I couldn't. And then, okay, what happens when that person says you can't?
Now that I'm that, I could say my motivation would be the fact that I know that I can't fall off. I just got to stay on top of my toes. And I'm sure I'm going to have a family by then. I got to provide for my family, make sure they good. So I got to just make sure I'm forever on top of my game for sure. Like, and I got to make sure I can't fall off. So I guess my motivation would just be the fact that I know that I can't fall off in my family and just remembering who I'm doing this for and why I started this.
And if all those things were taken care of, were satisfied, like your family was taken care of, bills were paid. If you could otherwise be taken care of financially, and you made no money from music, would you still do music?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I love this. This is my life. This is all I want to do.
So that's where I'm listening for the motivation, the drive.
Yeah, this is all I want to do. Yeah, I don't see myself doing. I don't want to do nothing else in this world but make music. I promise you. Like, I can make music for like minimum wage, like whatever minimum wage is right now. If they pay me minimum wage to make music right now, I'm quitting my job right now to make music for that minimum wage for sure.
Do you talk that motivation or that just that love for music? Is that something that's talked about in your music? Like you're just your love for it, or
well, no, it's talked
like,
about
what comes from
it's really my life experiences. If you listen to my music, it's really just life experiences and vibes. Like again, I believe I'm super fire and talented. So like when you hear the music, you'll be like, okay. So like you'll just quickly catch on, like, oh, okay, so this is what he about. You know?
Yeah.
As far as like me expressing my love for music in the music, nah, I don't do that. You could just hear the love I got for music when you listen to my records.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I definitely I agree with him to a certain extent. I don't think that I wouldn't say music is my end all be all. I wouldn't like if in that situation, if I was like financially like straight, I wouldn't necessarily stop music, but I would it depends on how I got the money. So if I got the money through music, then I would probably stop at some point. Because like I obtained this objective that I knew I could do. Right? Like I knew like my music was good enough to get to this point. Right? I had nothing to prove now. Right? Like it's really on some like whole stuff. Like I really would like I'm good. Like I already proved my point. Like whenever I want to drop, I could drop. I'm gonna flood the streets, and this is gonna be the best thing I ever heard. And then I'm gonna go back to it. But again, for me, it'll be like it's just the business aspect. Like you know what I mean? Like I understand that this is a overly saturated market that's gonna constantly change, and I don't think that my love for it now can stay with it and adapt to the environment and things of that nature. But I don't know if I was in a space where I was financially suited that I would want the mental strain of having to keep up, because then I wouldn't want the tarnish on my name. Not that I wouldn't be able to keep up, right? But just the mental strain, because you see a lot of artists do that too. Even when you think of like, you're talking about dudes like Drake, he said all the time, I don't think I might retire. Or J. Cole mentioned that he may retire because, you know, like they've done enough. And it's like, right, they say that, but it's because they don't want to keep going through the strain of constantly.
But it's like, it's one of those memes going around where it's a sound bite from like an old movie and he's like, I love the game.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I know I can get out.
And that's
you know what I'm saying?
though.
But you love it, yo.
Now, like I think, I truly think that people love the art of making music more than the actual, like the outcome of what happens from it. Like I don't,
the art,
I think that the process of making the music, we care more for the actual end product.
I agree.
Right? Like the sessions in the studio, like if you're a real artist, I'm not saying somebody that just wants to start rapping today and, you know what I mean? I'm talking about somebody that really like embraces the art, that knows the engineering aspect, that knows the producing aspect, that understands harmonies and cadences and octaves and things of that nature that a lot of new artists don't understand, right? That process, I think you fall more in love with because you're learning, and you're learning in a area or in a craft that you particularly favor, right? It's like if you're going to school, people say they go to school, I'm going to go to school because I want to be an engineer, right? So if you go to school to be an engineer, you are going to be that much more involved in your physics class or your whatever class because you want the end goal to be this, right? You're so infatuated with this end goal that you love this. So even though I hated college, but I love physics. You hear that a lot. Or I hated college, but I love my economics course because of the teacher. He made that experience that much more for me. That's the process that I feel like a lot of artists fall in love with when they're making music. At least for me, when I'm in the studio, like I can go and sit in a session. It could be my session, somebody else's session. I could be there for 8 hours and forget about the world and not care about it because I like the environment that what the studio brings. Now, if I was in a space where I was financially suited, I would still like to be in that environment, but it wouldn't have to be. I wouldn't feel forced to do it for some type of gain because I already accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. But because I have an ear for it, I like being around it. Now my perspective changed. I'll still be in music, but it'll be one of those. Okay, I have an ear for it. This artist sounds nice. Let me put you in a position to go do what it is, whatever your end goal is, right? I know that you don't have the right marketing, you don't have the right funding, you don't have this or that. Let's put you in a position to get it right. So that's how I would look at it.
Yep.
Nah, I respect that. So tell me a little bit about the project OB that you guys are working together on.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh man.
Well, first start with what's the name of the project? Are you able to?
MVOP presents Trap of Love, man.
Right, MVOP presents Trap of Love.
Right,
for sure.
so
hold on, say it one more time.
MVOP presents Trap of Love. So MVOP, that's my
brand. Never value others' perspective. So if it's not constructive criticism, if it's not benefiting my brand, I probably don't want to hear about it.
Word.
Ooh, you gotta say that again.
No, so never value others' perspective. So if it's not constructive criticism, if it's not benefiting my brand, I probably don't want to hear about it. So I don't value your perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's cool.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't care what you got to say. I just don't value your perspective. And I think that's fair for everybody. So
how'd you get to adopting that kind of mantra?
So MVOP originally started, right? I was Dolo, by myself. I was in a real dark space in life. So it was like, you know what? Screw everybody. It's Negrito's very own production. That's it. I don't care. Everything I'm gonna do is gonna come from me.
Oh, that's what the NVOP originally stood for.
Originally stood for Negrito's very own production.
Oh,
so it was Negrito on the beat. It was Negrito engineering. It was Negrito on the lyrics. It was Negrito everything. I didn't care, and I didn't want to be affiliated with anybody else because I was in a dark space and everybody was just like turning, and it wasn't. Things weren't working out of my nature, right? And this was like when I first started making music, so it was just like, nah. But then when I started coming along, I started having more people that I considered family. Like, it's like I know them 12 years. Like I won't even introduce them as like my friend or this is my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like anybody that you see around me, 95% of the time will be a family member because I don't have friends. I have family members. So when I started inheriting more family, right? I started to realize, hey, I don't need to be by myself. I don't have to do things by myself. I don't have to wear all the hats. I can sit there and give my hat to this person. He can do this aspect or he can do this aspect. So instead of it becoming Negrito's very own production, it became never value others' perspective. So if you're not helping this brand, because now I have to change my mindset. My mindset changed from saying, yo, I'm a one-man ship, one-man army, screw everybody, to, you know what? I got a team now, right? And we may not have it all figured out, but if you're not trying to help this team, if you ain't trying to benefit this team, and if you have nothing but negative connotations about this team, I gotta see you go. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I don't want you around though. So that's how that originally started. So, but yeah, so MVOP is never value others' perspective. Right,
and then Trap or Love, that's my entity where it's like Trap or Love. So it's like Trap or Love Records, like Most Wanted, like how I explained to you, like with the girls and I used to trap. Same thing with the Trap or Love, you know. So. But as far as the project, so MVOP presents Trap or Love, that's the project. It's pretty much a project about, you know, both of our experiences dealing with Trap or Love. So we're giving you, I have a single on there, he has a single on there. We're mixing it up with different songs, different sounds, different harmonies, different vibes. It's just I can't even really describe how it's just so diverse.
Is it already released or
no? It's one of those things where we're planning on dropping in another couple months, so but that's what we're doing, like a big promo and to kind of just get everything situated for that. But to piggyback off of the idea or the concept of Trap or Love, it's one of those things where it's like we've both been through our own trials and tribulations in life and our own different experiences. So whether it's the trap side, whether it's like you said, him, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the things he used to do back in the day, or just being trapped in life itself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have this a certain narrative when it comes to the word trap, you know what I mean? And they always refer that to like, oh, you're, you know, dealing work or things of that nature. But in all actuality, like, you know, we still trapped. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why they call it the projects, because we're an experiment to other, you know what I'm saying, to what's going on in the real world. So, and I learned that from one of my uncles, Theo Isi, may he rest in peace. You know what I mean? Like he was big on the expression slime. I know that like now it got taken out of context with, you know, all the new trendy stuff. But when I grew up on the word slime meant sick of living in my environment. So when I refer to you as my slime, it was one of those things saying like, hey, we grew up in the same projects. We grew up in the same, you know what I mean, crappy neighborhood. So I'm sick of living here. So when I say when you my slime, I'm saying that hey, we sick of living here, you sick of living here, let's change our environment, let's change where we live at, and let's change our lives for the better. So when we think of the trap side, you think that's that dark side, that stuff that the vulnerable side, the stuff that, you know, the trials and tribulations, and the love side is the side that no rapper for the most part wants to talk about, because they feel like there's a certain stigma that you have to be this tough guy when it comes to being a rapper or artist. No. Or it's only R&B singers can sit there and make love songs. No, that's not the case. You know what I mean? That narrative got changed years ago when 50 Cent came out. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, he was the staple of that. You know what I mean? He got shot 9 times and came out with 21 questions like nothing happened. And everybody was like, this is insane. And it's like, right, because he can sit there and still be who he is, even though he has this persona. So,
I don't know, personally, I think LL did it before all of them.
Well, no, I mean,
he was the first. He was the first rapper turned sex symbol.
No, but LL. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall and in the back of my mind. I get it, but
I need love.
But what LL though, I think that was always what they made him out to be. They tried to make him the tough guy. He was never the tough guy.
But 50 was.
He was never the tough guy. He was always the lover boy, right? He was the one that you bring home to your moms. He was that guy. 50 was the gangster. Like he came out, I'm a gangster, bulletproof vest. This is who I am. But hold on, I got you need a best friend. I got 21 questions. You know what I'm saying? So when you switch that, it's like, oh wait, 50 can do it. Now all the gangsters is like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna hold my girl here in the public.
Everybody want how they
like,
tank top.
Yeah, come on. Like, he's a trendsetter. Like without 50 Cent, there is no melodic rap. There is no Boogie. There's no Dirk. There's nobody without 50 Cent.
Right.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Word.
So this collab project is scheduled to release in a couple months from now.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's like an actual month, if you could? Because we don't know when this episode is going to actually air, so when people are going to get to it, they can at least be looking for a month in mind.
Oh yeah, March right now. So I would say
we say by the end of summer it'll be out.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
All right. So by the end of summer.
Yeah, I want to get it realistically, just because I want to do things right away in terms of promo. We was looking originally for like May, you know what I mean, but.
Yeah,
like June.
Yeah, probably June. Like right when it's
but
like
I'm telling you,
the first cookout. Woo!
I'm telling you,
the first cookout.
The music is so fire.
There's at least 3 records on there.
Fire.
Like, and records meaning timeless. Like there's at least 3 there, for sure.
Fire.
As far as released projects individually, how many like individual projects have you released?
I got 7
that you've released already.
Yeah, I got 7.
What about you, Negrito?
2, 3.
Okay. 3. Out of the projects you individually released already, what would you say, as far as individual tracks at least, what's your favorite so far?
My personal favorite,
and maybe a little bit
because
about why
I know
it's your
how
favorite.
it made me feel personally is I Hope You're Satisfied. And I have a project called I Hope You're Satisfied, but it's the first song off I Hope You're Satisfied. 1, because the beat is crazy. 2, because of my emotions. When I made that song, I was actually crying in the stew. It was like, and it's deep. The melodies is crazy.
Really? You was crying on the...
Nah, yeah.
Are you crying on the track? Or you was just crying in the studio?
Like tears, like, just like tears. I'm listening back, I'm thinking back about the past. I'm like, darn, like, shorty really,
Got you.
Yeah, I Hope You're Satisfied. It hit home. I ain't gonna lie. Like, when I'm by myself all the time, when I'm doing my thing, I listen to that on repeat all the time, bro.
And what's the name of it again?
I Hope You're Satisfied.
I hope you. Hey, y'all might want to look that one up. It got him emotional. There's probably some deep stuff on that track.
Nah, yeah.
And then Love 'Em All, but y'all ain't hear that yet. That's on our project.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about you, Negrito?
Well, for one, I want to sit there and say what my favorite song of his is before I sit there and talk about me.
Okay.
So my favorite song of his.
It's not the one where he's crying.
No.
I mean, not the.
Nah. I didn't know that till now. So, that's fire though, because he's a person that wears his heart on his sleeves for sure. Like he's one of those people. I think I kind of got 2, but my number 1 would probably be Lovers and Friends. That song is like that song. When I first heard that song, I may have been a little tipsy. But I cried when I heard it for sure. So anybody that can make me come out of emotion was like, okay, yeah, that's different.
But you heard it that same night I sent it to V?
Right. So I heard it the same night that he sent it to the person that he was talking about, which is our late friend. May she rest in peace. Vanessa.
Okay.
No, yeah, but she that was about her, right? Yeah, that was about her. So and then it resonated with me because she passed away like not even a couple, like I think how long ago after she passed away after that song? Like a month or 2?
Yeah, before
something like that.
Yeah.
So she passed away like a month or 2, and he said it to her first, and she was like, "Oh my God, I love the song. The song is great." And then she passes away too. Well, she was killed, but I ain't gonna sit there and say she passed away because that's
right.
That's wild.
But yeah, so that's my favorite song. That song, like, if you like, I know he said he cried for that one, but if you hear the emotion in that one, so if y'all looking up "Lovers and Friends" by OB, I promise you,
that's love.
Sit by yourself in the room and listen to that. That song
would
change your perspective on as an artist of who he is. I don't care what other song you listen to him, what other narrative he's pushing, but that song is really who he is as an individual. So if you want to hear that song, listen to that song, and then you'll really understand who he is as a person.
Now, y'all tell him your favorite song of yours, and I'm gonna tell him my favorite song of yours.
All right, so my favorite song of mine, I kind of got 2. Unbiasedly, I would say "Strictly for the Ladies," the first one with him, would be one of my favorite ones.
You said "Sugar for the Ladies"?
Strictly for the Ladies.
Strictly for the Ladies.
It's like a dance hall vibe, kind of like reggae, R&B, hip hop theme kind of song. It's definitely one of those summer songs. You know what I mean? It's tied for my first only for the simple fact of the production to get into it.
That night.
Right, like from the producer. Shout out to DJ FMCT.
Yeah.
He produced the track.
Facts.
And then like we pulled a 12, 13 hour studio session, like all night.
Facts.
He went to sleep, woke up, heard my ad-libs, said, wait, I got it. And he went in there and did his thing. Yeah. And then
shout out Black Man 103.
Yeah, shout out Black Man 103 and High Five Studios out in West Haven.
Right.
Nah, yeah, like it was one of those things where it was like the whole vibe was like indifferent. It was a snowstorm outside. We couldn't even leave the studio because it was like it wasn't even. It was like a what they call it, a
snowstorm.
No, but what they call
a blizzard.
Yeah, no, but like they call it emergency something like state of emergency.
Oh, well, yeah,
that's what it was. So you couldn't even get out you couldn't even like, drive on the road. Like it was like that. So we literally just had to sit there.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was like, well, we might as well make this song. Yeah. We was working on it already. He went to sleep, woke up. It's like 6 a.m. He's like, I got it.
I heard that ad-libs. I was like, oh nah, I'm on.
So because of the experience behind that would be my favorite, but my individual by myself favorite would be Here We Go Again. That's probably my favorite song by myself. It's because like again, if you wanted to hear a song to represent me, you would hear that song. That's a song that would describe me as an artist. If you want to look at it, if you want lyrics, if you want pain, if you want realism, you're gonna listen to that song and be like, okay, cool. You want harmonies, you want melodics, you're gonna listen to that song and be like, okay, if I had to put one song in the ringer, put one song, that would be it. That'd be
a lot of artists are not as transparent, or I'll say ready to be vulnerable inside their music.
Oh, 1,000.
Why do you think, in your opinion, that is? And for you, whatever the reason you think that is, why is that not the reason that stopped you?
I would say for me personally that a lot of people have identity issues, honestly, to be honest. Like they don't know who they truly are, and they are afraid of showing who they are for the fear of rejection from their peers or someone that they're trying to get to like or date or whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that when it comes to music, for me at least, this is the only space where you can truly be yourself and be as vulnerable as you want, because when you're recording, it's just you and the engineer. Right. In reality, they're poker face. They're not even paying attention to what your mannerisms are or your emotions. They are strictly there to do a job, right? So you can be who you want to be, right? And who you truly are. But if you're going and they're trying to be somebody else, right? You're never going to get the satisfaction of, oh, I like the way this song sounds because you want to sound like such and such. Well, there's already a such and such. So we don't need him anymore. Right? If I'm not going to listen to you, I'd rather listen to him. You know what I mean? So why not just sit there and go be who you are? Why not be Negrito? Why can't I just make what I want to make? Because I'm the one paying for this. I'm paying for the session. I'm putting the pain in. I'm taking time out to write it. I'm paying for beats and all this promo and stuff. Why would I want to do that to sound like Joe Schmo? That doesn't make sense to me.
Any sense.
So I think that the fact of people, their fear of rejection, primarily from their peers, right? Like they'll play a song, oh, you like this? They'll be like, you should make something that sounds like, when you get reactions like that, people, they're there, why? As soon as you make that person not gonna listen to it anyways. Right? They're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's cool. And they're gonna go back to whatever they want to listen to.
Exactly.
So you're trying to appease everybody when you're not even happy with yourself. And that doesn't make sense to me. Be happy with yourself and what you're putting out. So then when the time comes, whoever enjoys it can enjoy it with you and embrace it with you. So.
That's real. On my end, you feel me? I just make, like, when it comes to making music, I just gotta talk about my emotions. I don't talk much. I don't talk at all. I don't really, that's not like I don't like people, but it's just like, why are we talking? Like, for instance, I walk up in the room, I don't even say good morning to people. I just, you feel me? Unless you talk to me, you know, but like with me, I go in the stew and I just express everything. So I feel like that's just my way of being vulnerable and being myself. Nah, I mean, like when I walk into work, I say, yo, you feel me? Go about my word. Unless you're talking to me, yeah, but it's like, what am I talking to?
OB walking in the rooms just disrespecting everybody.
Ain't no disrespect.
You get no good morning from me.
Excuse me,
ain't nothing to really talk about. But when I get in that booth, I'm letting everything go, you know? But I'm like in a shell.
Have you always been that way, even as a youth?
As a fact, as a child, man, I went through a lot as a child.
No, I mean like being.
Yeah, I was been.
So you were always silent, like.
But I was forced to be that way because of how people treated me. So I was forced to be that.
Oh, how people treated you as a kid.
Yes.
That forced you to be quiet.
Yes, like into myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the, for you, Negrito, what are some of the things that you hope your music does for other people as you go forward in this journey?
Truthfully,
Yeah.
I don't want it to do anything. If you want me to become like completely blunt, I don't
speak your truth.
I don't think that people should be motivated by others people's perspectives and experiences in life. I truly believe that. I think that if you've been through something similar, right, you can embrace it and you can relate to it, right? But there's nothing that I can say to you that you haven't either A, already heard, or B, experienced within your own life, right? What I can do is I can offer sense of endearment, or I can offer a certain type of enlightenment towards you and try to motivate you to prosper you, but all of that comes from within. So I can sit there and you can watch a million motivational posts, you can listen to Wallow, you can listen to any of these speakers or whoever, right? Or listen to any song. You can be in the gym and be pumped up to go work out. If you don't want to work out, you're not going to go to the gym. It's that simple. You can listen, to 10 rock songs in a row that screamo bass with crazy riffs, and you're never going to. You're not going to want to work out if you don't want to work out. It's a mental thing. It's an internal thing. So I can sit there and hope that you take what I say and either try to apply it to your life or do stuff with it. But at the end of the day, you are the controller of your life. So I can't control, and it's already been written. So whatever you want to do in life is completely up to you. Right? How you choose to go about your life is how you choose to go about it. If you want to listen to my music in the meantime, by all means, listen. Keep clicking and keep listening to it. But for me, I don't ever want to give a false narrative or give this impression to people that that they can do something without them being confident in themselves doing it first, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So yes, I would love to be a motivation to somebody or inspire somebody to do great things in life. But if you don't want to do that for yourself already, then I can sit there and tell you, I can give you 64 bars about how to be successful or how to be positive in life. But if you're not willing to sit there and apply that or even take the first step, then there's nothing that anybody can say to you, me, Drake, OB, you, or whoever, that's going to change your perception on life until you're ready to change it for yourself. So me personally, that's how I feel about that.
So it sounds like for you, the focus in you releasing music to the world is more about what that release does for you, not you trying to control or make someone else feel something.
Right. I mean,
you want to simply be able to just exist through your music.
Yes.
And then if something great comes from that for somebody else, fantastic.
Right.
But that's not the drive or the initial.
Yeah, because like I was saying to the point earlier, if I do that, right, there's 7 billion people on this planet. So now that means I have to make essentially 7 billion different records to appease 7 billion, because there's 7 billion different, and I know it sounds kind of asinine to kind of group it and categorize it that way, but in all actuality, there's 7 billion different personalities and 7 billion people's different feelings. So in all actuality, yes, is there going to be a couple 100 million that agree or feel the same way or relate to it? Of course, right? Great. But I'm not going in there saying, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to touch these 100 million people." That doesn't make sense to me. Because if I do that, that means that I lost touch of what the purpose was, which was me initially. So yes, I agree with your point. Yes. Right.
What is, for either of you? You could answer or both of you answer. What is the thing that, as you get further engrossed into the music industry, what are some things that you see happening in music with either individuals your age or even the next generation, younger, coming up behind you? What are some things that you're seeing that you'd like to change yourselves or you'd like to see changed in your lifetime?
So what am I seeing from others that makes me want to change?
Yeah, seeing in the industry.
In the industry itself.
Yeah, what are you seeing in the industry happening that you'd like to change yourself or you'd like to just see it change in your life?
There's a whole lot of weird stuff going on in the industry, but me personally, just because I know the type of person I am, I wouldn't want to change nothing, because respectfully, what's going on, what they got going on, would have nothing to do with me. You know what I'm trying to say? So I wouldn't want to change a thing. I'm going to just keep doing my thing and then just try to adjust the best way I can.
Well, the reasoning is that while we'd love to adopt that idea or principle in everyday life, because to a good degree we can do that, except in the spaces in which we wish to inject ourselves. So when I say the spaces that already exist, right? They move a certain way.
I guess I could say
it's like saying, hey, what would you let's say you work in the education in school.
Yeah.
And you go, and I say, hey, OB, what would you like to see change in the education system?
Okay,
you go,
nah,
I don't
I
want to
get
see nothing change. But you're a teacher, so you can't help but.
I see what you're saying. So I'll say the beef. You know, hip hop beef is stupid to me. Like, I guess if we taking it on like, if we keeping it music, that's cool. But people take it further than music, it's never that deep. I feel like from what I'm seeing, the industry look like high school, and that's whack. I do not support that. Like, what are we beefing for? You got millions, I got millions. We making music, we making. What are we real life beefing for? Like, people real life want to kill each other in the industry, and I'm not understanding that. It's dumb to me.
No, I mean, I think too, like a lot of the quote unquote beef we see in the music industry is fake beef, though. It's like it's to sell records.
It's marketing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from the I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
You could be right, but we don't actually
definitively know. But
yeah.
But I would say for me personally, I think people have to start establishing some type of morality. I think in the industry, I think there's a lot of people that take advantage of the youth. You see a lot of these young artists come up, they have no morality.
Right.
Or like their morals aren't set. There's no foundation set.
Right.
So they go in there, they're either taking these dumb deals, right?
Whatever.
Because you'll see a bunch of, like, I was talking to one of my brothers the other day and saying, like, yo, some dude got offered $25,000 to go sign. That's insane to me. Like, to me, but again, money is relative. So what's a lot of money to you isn't a lot of money to me, or vice versa.
Right.
So
facts.
So when I look at it from that perspective, it's like, you need to have some type of morals, what you are going for and what you aren't going for, right? So if you like, to your point earlier, if you're saying that your love of the music is what drives you, he said he'll do it for minimum wage. I won't. Like, that wouldn't make sense to me, like from a literal standpoint. So, but when I look at it from the grand scheme of things, when you're in the industry, right, a lot of people either lose their morals because they want to get to a certain level, as opposed to saying, well, you already gotten this far with your morals or your morality intact. So why are you sitting there going against the grain or trying to go off course because of what you think is going to be on the other side? And I know that expression sounds super cliche, like the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but the reason why it's an expression is because there's truth behind it. So for you to sit there and jump ship and think that you can just be over here tomorrow because of this decision doesn't really work that way, right? Like, for lack of a better term, a lot of these up-and-coming artists or artists in general are pawns, right? They're back behind the label, so these labels are these big business, these big chess pieces that are making all the moves, and you are interchangeable, right? As much as you may think that you're the best new artist, or if you're Drake, even Drake with his stature and his status, it doesn't matter. You're interchangeable. We can find somebody, because when you're done done making music, we will find another Drake. There was another. There was Biggie. There was Pac. There was Hov. There was Nas. There's gonna be another you. So we have to get out of this mindset of stop trying to settle for less, because you will get replaced immediately.
Right.
So have some morals.
Right.
Stand on what you believe in any aspect, right? Whether it's financially, whether it's spiritually, whether it's emotionally, however, whatever you stand on that. And whatever is meant for you is meant for you. Again, everything's already been written. So so there's you trying to change whatever the course of life you think it's been set for you, it ain't gonna happen.
Right.
What's been set for you has been set for you.
I assume the both of you, it sounds like from a little conversation we've had before the show too, that you guys are from around the way, like, right? You grew up in the inner city communities.
Right, for sure.
Taking into account all of what you just said, how is it that the two of you believe you came to arrive at the age you are now with the morals you have? Like, what were the things in your sort of your upbringing that solidified those morals for you? Or you OB?
For me, it was my mom. So my mom's been like, she's been real, like I've seen her go through a lot of adversity in her life. So for her to be the person that she was and go through what she went through, to then still instill certain foundations, because she could have easily copped out multiple times in multiple situations, right? Like, I done seen her been beat by my father. I done seen her lose jobs. I done seen her, try to work through the grain tooth and nail to put me in a position to be where I'm at in life. So with all that being said, but she never forgets to instill her foundation and her beliefs and what she stands on and what not to go for and go for. That's why she went through the ringer and when she went through things she went through. And I feel like a lot of inner city kids don't have that guidance, whether it's a mom, a father figure, a role model, or whoever, right? You'll start, and you know, I know the narrative is always pushed like, oh, you know, there's a lot of, you know, deadbeat fathers or this and that, right? But it happens everywhere, right? It can be in the inner city, it can be in the suburban areas, it can be anywhere. There is a lack of people taking accountability, right, in life. So if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna have a child, then be a parent to that child and give them the foundation because they didn't actually be here. So if you're gonna sit there and put them in this world and give them no guidance and then crucify them when they get older and say, well, you should have done this. It's like, how? Yeah. It's like the expression, like when you ask them, you know, everybody plays spades. Well, oh, you play spades? You ask a youngin', yeah, you play spades? And they go, no. And everybody, all the OG's reaction is, oh, you don't know how to play spades? Where you been at? You been living under a rock? But yet no one at the table is gonna show the youngin' how to play spades. They'll crucify him all day on why he doesn't know, but won't offer a hand to go show him. Come sit next to me, nephew, let me show you how to play spades. So because of that mentality, is exactly the reason why you start seeing a lot of people having these lifestyles where they grow up into and they don't adhere to nothing. They don't sit there and have any foundation set. They just run with the wind because nothing was set for them at a young age.
Well, I could say my morals came from my experiences. You feel me? Like I wasn't always I used to be a really slimy dude. You feel me? I wasn't right when I was younger. So as I got older, I started to peep how I was moving. I would hate for anybody to do me how I was doing others. He laughing.
Where do you think that revelation suddenly came from?
Oh, like one day, why I was doing people the way I was doing people, like why I was slamming people out, basically, because I as a youngin' I was hurt. Again, I done been through a lot. And, you know, I used to be a very innocent kid until I started dealing with stuff for no reason. People just used to bother me for no reason and do me super wrong. So I just felt like, I bet that's what I'm learning. That's what I'm inheriting. People doing me wrong. So let me do people wrong. But then as I got older, I realized, yo, this is not cool. And I would hate, like, the stuff I did when I was younger, I could never even fathom doing the stuff to bro or any of my, like, that's crazy, you know? But and it's funny too, cause they still make jokes about it here and there. But it's I would never. I'm not that type of person. So my morals now that I stand on proudly, by the way, very proudly, my morals I stand on proudly. It comes from the lack of knowledge I had when I was younger. I can never deal with nobody who I used to be. Like you know? So I just taught myself. I guess I learned from myself. That's the best experience. You know,
not dealing with people you used to is a really difficult thing for a lot of other individuals. Negrito, what has been the journey for you in that regard? Have you had to deal with any real experiences of having to leave a large group of people behind in your past? 1,000. Like people that just didn't either mentally evolve with you or didn't just... They not on business, you on business, they on some other type of wave, or
listen, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, like I don't think anybody should say this, like probably like, yeah, I left the, like I don't think, yeah, I mean, but no, yeah, unfortunately, I had to leave a couple family members behind.
Really?
Nah, yeah, for sure. Like I don't like misery loves company, and I don't like neither. So like I don't want to deal with any of that, to be honest. So I can't be in a space where people choose to be miserable 25/8. I really can't. Word. I can't be around someone that's not in a positive space all the time because, again, you are the conductor of your life. So you control the narrative of your life. You control every outcome. Word. You chose to wake up this morning, brush your teeth, get up early, wake up late, whatever it is. You chose that, right? You had full control over that, right? The same way if that job tells you they're going to pay you $45 an hour, you're going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get there because now you're incentivized to do it. Right. Whereas life shouldn't need an incentive because this is yours. The life itself should be the incentive. Waking up every day, you should be blessed. Wake up every single day. That is the incentive, is life.
Yeah,
right?
That's different.
So why are you taking it for granted? Why are we waking up and saying, I'm going to throw this day away? Yeah. Or I'm going to sit there and take the day to be miserable. Right. I seen this post that said, if you had $86,000 in your bank account and somebody sold 10, would you be mad? Probably not, right? If you had 86,000, I sold $10, you probably wouldn't be mad. You probably wouldn't even notice it, right? Tight. But there's 86,000 seconds in a day. So if someone or any situation gets you mad for 10 seconds, are you going to throw your entire day away because of that 10 seconds?
Wow.
Probably not. So even with that perspective,
that's deep.
A lot of people don't understand that that life is way too short. I don't lost like way too many people. I got my homegirl. I mean, I shouldn't have to get a tattoo of somebody that passes away that I cared about deeply. You know what I'm saying? But why? But she's gone. You know what I'm saying? Because of, and she's the same age as me. I've been in situations where I could have been in the exact
same. Is this
the yes
person y'all talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Named V?
Yeah, Vanessa. Yep.
That was my shorty at the time.
Yeah, that was his girl at the time.
Yeah.
Was it as? It's from the sound of it. It sounded like it was abrupt, like unexpected.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Was were for the either of you, and to whatever degree you're comfortable on camera, for either of you, was it at least a passing on where you felt like the last conversation, at least that you had with the person, was a good one?
I talked to her that same night.
You felt it was a good conversation?
No, his conversation was bad.
It was on some where you at.
Yeah.
She was with.
What about you, Negrito?
For me, I mean, the last conversation was good.
Yeah.
I mean, like like I guess
a positive person. Usually.
No, she's the life of the party.
The life of the party.
You know what I mean, like that's just who she was. That's her whole spirit was. She was really like her spirit animal was somebody that was just so infectious that anybody that's around you would just. Right. It's contagious. Like you couldn't be in a bad mood around her. Like that's just how she was, how her spirit was. But but like when she passed, it was one of those things where it was just like it was so sudden. So you start thinking about like, wow, like that literally just happened. Like that was right next door. Right. You know what I mean? So like why? If that happened to her, like what makes it different for me? You know what I mean? If I'm over and I'm making worse decisions than she is, I'm doing stuff that she's not even involved in, and I'm over here. You see what I'm saying? So when I look at things like that, I'm not throwing away my 10 seconds a day for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, bro.
So if there's a masses of people that need to get cut off, family, friends, whoever, right? Again, I can speak on this not proudly, but I cut my mother off for 7 months. You know what I'm saying? Because she lied to me. I just don't deal with things like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't deal with, and that's my blood. Like that's my rock. Like anybody ask anybody.
Shout out
my mom's my best
man.
friend. Yeah, shout out to my mother. My mother's in a great space.
Right.
But at the time, I don't deal with liars. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown man. Why are you lying to me? You know what I'm saying? You ask me a question, for me to lie to you is just a sign of disrespect to me, right? Because it means that you think that I'm less, that you can sit there and lie to me and that you can get away with it. Not that there has to be some type of repercussion in terms of like any type of altercation, but in the sense of why lie to me? Either you're scared of me or you don't respect me. So why are you lying to me? And I don't want nobody to fear me. I'm not out here expecting people to just be, you know what I'm saying? But in the same sense, so I take it as a sign of disrespect. So if I had to remove myself from you, remove you out of my life for 7 months, then so be it. Right. And that's what it was. So and
how long ago was this passing for?
2020.
2020 during the pandemic.
So this is
3 days before my birthday, December 19th. Yeah, 2020.
Okay, and I met you guys went to the funeral or whatever it is that they had. Oh, you said no?
Nah, yeah, we went. Yeah,
okay, you did.
But I'm just remembering like.
Yeah.
Went to the viewing, burial site.
Yeah,
I didn't go to the burial site. I just went to the viewing.
Yeah, helped the moms. I'm saying with all like anything that they needed to get her right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was one of those things where it was just like it was unexpected.
Yeah.
So
wow. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because a lot of those, whether we, like you said, the song was about that individual. I think for artists, I think there's a lot of hidden meanings and stories behind a lot of their songs where the rest of us, we would never know that. Know that because you guys
I also
close.
wanted to mention too, I didn't even get to say, my favorite song of his is Mind Clear. If you listen to Mind Clear by Negrito right now, he ain't played for me. Before he even recorded it, he was rapping like 2 weeks later, we was at our boy crib, he was rapping it to me and I was like, oh nah, like it resonate. And then when he recorded it, I remember, it was New Year's Day, December 31st, 2020. I kid you not, I listened to that song about 100 times, if not, just kept looping it.
And what's the name of it?
Mind Clear. And every time Mind, MIND, Mind Clear. And every time I listen to that song, I think of Vanessa. That's my favorite song of his, all time for sure.
What were you talking about in that song, Negrito?
If you want,
and that's a song where you rapping.
Yeah.
Clearly, it did a number on OB, so I mean, he got me interested.
Bro,
I was like,
fire,
I mean, he could probably explain it better than I can because
I
ain't
gonna lie, I don't know who you, but I don't know if it was about Nessa or whatever, but it was just like, you feel me? Like it was real.
There's like specific lines that can apply. Yeah. That applied to her
Okay.
Or well, not that can apply to her in his perspective.
But
mine clear for me was in a space where it was just like, I was dealing with a certain individual, and now that I was so distraught over you leaving and this, that, and the third, but now that you're gone, I mean, you're not here no more. Now my mind has clarity, right? Now I understand what the purpose of life is. So if I had to assume from his perspective, if he's looking at it saying, well, like, when you was here, it's like, all right, cool, you was here, and we had this space together, but now that you're not here, now I understand life differently. My perspective was, I was dealing with a girl. I'm no longer with you. You went your way, I went my way, whatever. But now it's, okay, cool, let's sit there and just really be in a space where we can, you know what I mean? Progress and be separate from each other. Right? So that was my clarity. It was like, oh, now, I was thinking about the time when you was here. Okay, cool. I'm never gonna shed a tear though. You know what I'm saying? So
deep.
So yeah, that's if I had to assume why it resonated for him as much as it did for him, because again, that goes back to my point earlier with perspectives on music, right? I made it talking about a breakup. He took it and applied it to a situation where he was dealing with somebody and they passed away. So
fire too, by the way, the record fire.
So for him, it's like, oh wow, like this made me feel this way. That was never my intention. You know what I'm saying? I was saying like, yo, screw my ex, I mean, whatever, I'm cool now. And you take it like, oh, dang, I miss my, I miss my girl that died. And it's like, you see what I'm saying? So that's why I never try to appease everybody, because if I do, then I would have never gotten that reaction. If I try to only fit this demographic, it would have never resonated with him, because it would have been a different song.
Fire, man.
So because it happened unintentionally, it's like, great. But the space I was in when I made it made him think a different way, so that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. Fire.
Respect.
Everybody go stream that.
Yo, before we wrap up, man, and get to the end of this episode, at the end of each episode, we try to have what we call free food for your soul. So, you know, we want to leave the audience with something that can edify their soul the way food edifies the body. So we have, you know, whether it's a one-liner, a gem from the episode that we just had, something that you want the audience to never forget, or if it's something brand new comes to your mind that you want to leave the audience with. What is something from the two of you gentlemen that you'd like the audience to have?
Short and simple. This has gotten me a very far away, man. Just be yourself. Do not be afraid to be yourself, man. Don't worry about what others got to say. Don't worry about people judging you. Who cares? None of that matters. And you'll never be happy if you're not yourself. So just be yourself, bro.
Respect that. And then I would just add on, ladies and gentlemen, what you heard OB said. Be yourself and always say it with your chest. All right, Negrito.
Right. All right, so I would say two things. One, obviously, never value others' perspective. I can't stress it enough. If it's not benefiting your brand, if it's not helping you grow, it's not helping your team, I promise you it's not important. If it's not constructive criticism, now if it's constructive criticism, hear them out, because they probably got something. They probably got something that can help you. Don't be ignorant. Don't think you got it all figured out.
Right.
But if you see it's blatant hate, I promise you it's not important. And lastly, if you want things that you ain't never got in life, you got to do things you ain't never did. So, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to sit there and if your goal is to get a lamb truck, and you ain't gonna get that working at McDonald's, I'm gonna keep it 100. So you got to start doing things that you ain't never. You have to start like indulging in different endeavors that are really gonna sit there and separate you from everybody else, right? Don't be weird. Don't think that you're gonna be the oddball out for doing something different, right? There's 1,000 millions ways to make money out here, right? You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to sit there and do podcasting. You don't have to sit there and do Forex trading. You don't have to do real estate. There's a niche for you out there.
Facts.
Find what makes you happy, and the money will come. Do not chase the money. You chase the money, I promise you're gonna be miserable the rest of your life.
Facts.
Chase what you love, and every single thing that's meant for you will get to you. That's what I'm saying.
Love it. Well, you heard it from the two gentlemen yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yo, big shout out to Negrito, to OB Mostwvnted.
Yes,
I appreciate you gentlemen for stopping by the Free Lunch Podcast. We are so grateful.
Man. We appreciate it.
So grateful to you guys. Again, make sure you guys hit the link in the description of this episode. We're gonna make sure you guys have a link to Negrito, to OB Mostwvnted. Hey, check out what they got going on. Make sure you guys follow them so you can keep abreast of the new project when it drops.
I don't have one.
Hopefully it's ready. Hopefully it'll be ready for summertime, right? Negrito, summertime.
Yes, for sure.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
summertime,
And
sure.
listen, guys, again, if you happen to follow them, if it's not released by summertime, at least you'll have their page to go into their DMs, cuss them out, shake your fist at them, do all of that. You know, you gotta light that fire sometime.
Nah, yeah, for sure.
I promise you, I'm not gonna work.
The people, I always say, the people, you guys gotta show the artist that you wanted.
Oh yeah,
Let the artist know. Hey, we looking.
Promise you.
We looking for it.
You're not gonna disappoint.
Right.
And we all want to listen for that track where OB was crying on the track, y'all.
Yeah, I hope you're satisfied.
Oh, that's out now. I hope you're satisfied.
The track where he's crying on the track.
I hope you're satisfied. It's a whole project. Listen to the first song.
Wow.
Yes,
Number
yes.
one.
Hey, appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
Free
y'all.
lunch,
Having us.
free food for your soul, y'all.
Love,
Peace.
love, love.